Hi, I'm Nick, and I like comics.
And I'm Adam, and I know comics.
Welcome to another episode of Adam and Nick Spoil Some Comics, where we spoil some comics. Today, we are talking about Batman and Robin Eternal, number 13. This issue was written by James Tynion IV, with Marcio Takara, who is the artist.
The issue opens up with Cassandra Cain jacking a parachute out of the back of an Argus jet and jumps into a giant crater, and the crater is known as the Scar.
Yeah, she totally, hijacked a ride.
I think it's interesting that they happen to have a parachute that already looks like bat wings, just happen to laying around in this Argus jet.
I mean, that's standard Argus procedure, is to have a bat-winged parachute.
So Cassandra arrives at the nursery, which looks like a hidden underground city. It looks pretty cool, actually. A bunch of security devices pop up, and she rushes past them. A scene changes back to several years ago, where it looks more like the school for gifted youngsters, but not the cool, fun kind.
Xavier is not running this school. There seems to be some children in the nursery that are a little bit upset, and you can see Cassandra Cain as a small child looking at all these other children. We know from past issues that she was not able to talk to the other kids. She was not able to associate with the other kids. And so one of the children is hurt, and the mother says, "Oh, come here, come to mother." And Cassandra tries to run and be comforted whenever David Cain, her father, allegedly anyways, picks her up and is like, "No way, you're going to be sentenced to the box or something for a month."
So the whole school is curated by robots, it looks like. There's just robots preceding children this way, go to weapons training this way, just pushes them around. And we get the first glimpse of the sculptor back then talking to young Cassandra Cain, saying, David has a very strict regimen for you. I know we're just beginning to teach you some language, but you're not allowed to be around the other children. We can't catch you that way. I'm not going to put you in the box. I'm a lot nicer than that. We know from last issue that she has a much different personality than everybody else who works for the mother. Mm-hmm. So Cassandra points out this motion that these other kids are making to each other that seemed very natural to anybody else, but to her, where she was raised in an atmosphere of murder, continuously murder around her, she asks and points, what are they doing? And she goes, "Oh, it's called a hug. People show their affection to one another by doing that." And immediately Cassandra hugs her because she's, obviously the only person who's been nice to her, even a little nice. Mm-hmm. And the sculptor backs away saying, "No, Cassandra, you can never do that again. This isn't what you were made to be." And it flashes back to the present.
Right, so we get this, again, pairing last issue and this issue together, a girl that is designed for one purpose, which is to kill, basically. Yep. And so they don't want her to show affection. They don't want her to know any of that type of humanity. They just say, "We want you to go in and kill people."
Right.
That's your existence. That's your job.
Back in the present, in the nursery, Cassandra is destroying all the robots that were pushing the kids around back when, and we see she questions another word that she actually knows, children, and all of a sudden a sword slices through a robot, and the prodigal daughter returns, exclaims the orphan.
And he has this, his really cool Anakin Skywalker hand, except this one's silver, not gold.
They feature it. It's so shiny.
Right, so shiny because his daughter, a few issues ago, cut his arm off.
So he throws her onto what looks like some sort of torture device table just to dump her into a pit. Right. He could have just thrown her in the pit, but he had to put her on the table first.
Right.
Seems like overkill.
I'm sure he made her kind of think that he was actually going to torture her in some way physically, and he did by dropping her in a pit, but now he's actually really torturing her mentally, because what we come to find out is there is this big pit of dead bodies. Right. And those were the bodies that we saw in the last issue that we assumed that Cassandra had killed, but now it's looking that she did not kill them.
Right. So as the scene moves on here, you can see her sitting on the corner, and she has the same motion where there's blood on my hands, oh no, but it's not because she murdered them, just because she landed in a pile of them. Cassandra grappling hooks out of there, and they start to fight. Flashback to several months ago in Gotham. Batman is still Batman in this case, and he's talking to Cassandra, saying that this information, all these names, she's alive, I was wrong, basically talking about the information that was on the jump drive we saw at the very beginning of this whole thing. And this is him giving it to Cassandra, saying, "If I don't survive, you need to get this to Dick Grayson, the first Robin. He was there."
And what Batman is talking about, if I don't survive, in the Batman Endgame storyline, in the main Batman title, there was this virus that Joker let out, and so this is Batman, trying to fix that and solve that, and he doesn't think that he's going to make it. He doesn't think he's going to survive. Spoiler alert, he doesn't, even though he kind of does. comics.
So important things here. He looks at her and notices that she's afraid. And he says, I want you to understand something. I know what they made you to do, and I know how much it's hurt you, how much it still hurts you. But you are not what they made you to be. You are something more. You are what you choose to be. And you fought your way across the world, so I know what she's about to do, so I can stop Mother once and for all. You're not a monster. You're a hero. And it's very cool to see Batman, like, basically taking her under his wing and then gives her the hug. The big motion we saw a little minute ago that she was, told, you cannot do this ever again. But Batman, of all people, is the one who gives her this hug.
And then we see she looks at her hands. Now we're back into the present time. She looks at her hands. There's all this blood on her hands. And then she starts painting like a bat symbol mask over her face. So she has this. Awesome. It looks really cool. So she has this blood bat just dripping from her face as her father David Cain is looking for her.
Which is another great transition between her actual father here, and now she's assuming the logo of her adopted father, in a sense. The fight begins, she opens with a punch, and then, thankfully, Nightwing and the Bluebird show up to help out, zapping him with a bunch of little bat tasers.
Then we see from that, this image of the mother pops up.
Giant hologram,
and she says, no, dears, I'm afraid not. It all ends here. It all ends tonight. I had hoped the others would be with you, Jason and Timothy. But plans never go quite as you hope they will. And this is still too neat not to pull the trigger.
And that's where we see the orphan going, Mother, questioning, wait a second, I'm here too. She says, you've done your job well, David. Mother is proud. That goes for each of you. I don't hate any of you. I pity you. Fortunately, there's no room for weakness in my new world. There can only be perfection. And that there's a thermonuclear device at the heart of the building they're in, and they're all going to die.
And then she says, good night. Overall, I really like this issue. There's James Tynion IV should probably write all of this. I mean, I know that would be a lot of work for him because I know he has some other books.
Well, he worked on the story anyway. So
right, so he really knows. And it's interesting because he did work on the story with Scott Snyder. I'm sure he was like, okay, this is the part I want to tell. Okay, this is the part I want to tell. Like, all these kind of big reveal moments, he's been the one that has done them. So, anyway, really good. I like seeing this evolvement of Cassandra Cain. Mm-hmm. How we just assumed that she was maybe working under the mother in the last issue, but now we come to know that it was just David being David, basically.
Right.
And I really like the point that you pointed out earlier where she has her father, David, that had grown up and trained her this way, and then how she's kind of taken on this mantle of this new father that she has in Batman and painting that symbol on her face. So, anyways, really good. I really enjoy that. I will give this one a 4 out of 5 bat symbols.
I really like this issue. I like the big reveal about Cassandra Cain's backstory. We've already got the big reveal about who her real dad was, but I like to see that Batman is kind of this father figure to her as he is to most of them, but in a very actually caring way. He knows it's what she needed, and from him. But it's pretty cool to see all these cool things that she can do. When she can take care of business, and I don't know, it's just such a well written issue, and I really like Takara's art. I have a lot of his art on my computer. I have a desktop where he has a few of the Justice League. It's very cool.
You just stare at it?
I do sometimes. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's really cool. I like it. It's kind of like a cartoonish, simplified art, but anywho, as a creative team, it was just very well delivered. I wish I could say things more in depth, but when I like stuff, I just like it. Right. I can pick stuff apart all day if it's terrible. When I like it, I'm like, it's so good, I got nothing else to say about it. That being said, I give this one a 3.5 out of 5 Robin symbols because it's that darn good of an issue.
Right. So overall, that is a 7.5 out of 10. So we liked it. Good job. Some congratulations is in order. Adam and his wife Heather had their 3rd baby this past week. So congratulations, man.
Thanks. Yeah, being a father of 3 is pretty awesome, although it can be kind of crazy. At least the older one wants to help a little bit. Mm-hmm. So we're kind of at the halfway point. I mean, we've had, 13 issues now? Mm-hmm. 13 issues to go, we think. Yeah. Most expected. So as far as what we've done so far, it's a solid comic. I mean, it's had its dips, but it's a pretty good series. Right, but and like any story that is very long, there's going to be some lulls and some slow moments and all that stuff. But again, overall, I am very satisfied with this story. Very happy with it, and I will gladly recommend it to anyone thus far. If
you want to connect with us on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, hit us up on there. Make sure you comment below, give us a thumbs up, let us know what you think. Are you excited about this story? Do you like the direction that they're going with Cassandra Cain? Do you think she should keep the red-blooded bat symbol across her face?
It's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. I think that should be her daily ritual. Like,
just every day, just
get some blood and then paint her face. So again, congratulations to Adam and Heather in their new addition to their family. And thank you for watching. And until next time, we will be eagerly waiting for the second half of Batman and Robin Eternal.